Welcome to today's video. On this level, we have to upgrade. We can no longer rely on the stats we have. We have to get the right materials to boost our stats. So we're going to be eating a healthy meal tonight. Then we're going to be drawing, and we're going to be talking again about Terry Fox. But I have something to add to that. Why does not Hideo Kojima know about Terry Fox? Or if I'm missing something, he's never mentioned him. It's like the epitome of everything he's made games about for the last decade. Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain relied heavily on the distinctive feeling of missing something and the pain that causes. While Death Stranding is about crossing the country for a cause bigger than yourself but heavily related to yourself at the same time. It seems too unreal to me that I've never seen any correlation between the two. So that is what we'll be talking about tonight. To start, we need to chop some veggies.
Okay, here we go. First up, the carrot.
All right. So I'm doing a big carrot because I like carrots. When I was a kid, I would eat carrots so much right out of the bag that I would puke orange chunks and then keep eating. Someone told me that you could have incredible eyesight from carrots when I was a kid, and I took that as if you eat enough carrots, you can shoot laser beams from your eyes or have x-ray vision or what have you, or see 1,000 yards clear as 1 yard. But I just puked carrots, so they never stayed in my gut long enough to work. My favorite veggie was carrots, and my favorite fruit was apples. And then I like green beans, which I don't know what those are, but that was it. That was it for me. So, I came to this realization a couple days ago. But you know what? I didn't do any research. But I'm okay with that, because if Hideo Kojima does know about Terry Fox and he's already mentioned him, I still want to talk about this. I think it's very interesting. So if you're not Canadian, let me go over Terry Fox a little more, just so you have a basic idea. He was a young man who got cancer. And this was during a time when prosthetics were not as advanced as they are now. So they had to remove his leg for a surgery to try to remove the cancer and stop it from spreading. They did that and gave him a very rudimentary prosthetic. And Terry Fox was a runner, and he's also had a big heart. So he decided to try to run across the country on one leg. And I mean that. This prosthetic was not like the blades they have now for Olympic runners and stuff. This was, picture a pirate trying to run a marathon. It was hobble, step, the whole way there. Unfortunately, Terry did not make it, as he became too ill on his marathon and passed away. But he has inspired millions around the world to continue his cause and has raised, I'm pretty sure it's near $1 billion or more now, in funds towards cancer research. So why does that relate to Hideo Kojima beyond his enthusiasm for prosthetics and cross-country journeys and nature and what have you? Is Sorry, just picking up bits. But there's more to it than that. Terry not only did this by himself, but every step he went, every person he passed, cheered him, ran with him, and supported him along the way, which in turn created extreme morale out of a horrible individual situation. And Hideo Kojima does that. He takes these extreme situations in his games and he gives you this sense of being and morale and hope from them. I think if the two met, they would have been inseparable. Not because they would have been best friends, but their identities would have been unmatched by any others when it comes to compatibility. In the comments down below, I would like to hear, what do you know of Hideo Kojima and what do you know of Terry Fox? And if you already do know of both of them, try to see if you can come up with correlations between the two. And spread the word to Hideo Kojima. That's all I ask of you. So those are carrots. We are going to put the carrots and the peppers in probably at the same time. So I'm just going to put them all in the same bowl. I'm going to do peppers next. I got a yellow bell pepper and a red chili pepper. Pencil pepper, I think it's called. I just started using those recently. They're really good. Then we got some onion. Perfect. Not a single seed. I love it. I'm going to go further into my conversation when I start drawing, but I wanted to get the basic idea out when the energy was high in me still. But once I am calm and sitting down, we'll have a much more thorough conversation. In the comments below, rate my knife skills 1 to 10. Today, I went rock climbing for the first time. I did bouldering. And I have to say, I would have not done a lot of these activities like that if I never played the first Death Stranding game, especially when I did. It was when I was just becoming a young adult. So, it was very formative in a way that made me forget about any sort of tribulations I had in my youth and just look forward. That's the feeling it gave to me. And I think that's the feeling Terry Fox gives a lot of people too. It doesn't matter what you're going through, you can keep going forward. And yes, I will be getting a proper camera and tripod very soon. It is coming. Please be patient. And a microphone, of course. It's all coming. Bear with me. If you get any sort of enjoyment out of these videos, but you wish they had better quality, give me the littlest bit of time after my next 2 to 3 uploads, and we're going to be pristine. I promise that. Okay, we got those. Now we're going to have... We'll do one of these. And I was always wary of these peppers, but after trying them in one meal, they're almost sweeter than they are hot, at least this one. It's the, pencil pepper. So we dissect them. This is just how I figured it out. There's probably another million ways to do this, but I don't want the seeds, so this is how I get them out. Let's open them up. And there you go. For those of you that are looking for more Canadian or Toronto-specific centric content surrounding art, I highly recommend a YouTube channel called Art Chad. He recently put out a video talking about the... I'm not as smart as him, so I can't exactly describe it, but it's philosophy, I think, and AI. That's all I'm going to say. Very intriguing stuff that will take me maybe 1 or 2 more rewatches to actually understand. But I know a lot of people are getting something out of really diving into this heady stuff lately. Not just for any sort of pretentious reasons. It really grounds them, it seems. Or if not grounds them, helps them at least understand things in a broader scope. And Art Chat is very good at doing that. It's not his fault that I didn't understand everything on the first viewing. It's very much on me. But, yeah, I highly recommend it. Art Chad, go check out his channel. He's doing some good stuff lately. Another Toronto-centric YouTube channel that does travel videos. I might be butchering this, but his name is Xander Burnwick or Budwick. I'll fix it in the edit. But he's very good. Xander was an X at the front. Very, very good. He recently went to the Amazon and spent time with some tribal natives. And he made a very captivating personal video, including them. And I highly recommend it. He also does a lot of trips in Ontario and along Canada. So he's all around just a cool exploring guy. And both of those channels are what inspired me as specifically a Canadian filmmaker, YouTuber, to start what I'm doing. Okay, we got those chopped up, and I think I'll throw those in with the onions at the same time. I don't know if that's correct, but that's what I'm going to do. So I'll put those in here, and then we're going to chop the onion, and then we're going to get to cooking. I will try my best to film the actual cooking, but I'm not going to be talking over it. I don't have a way of picking up audio. I might try to do a voiceover, but just enjoy some nice ASMR cooking. And then we will get into the good stuff, the drawing, me ranting, all the stuff you came here to see. I had some really nice biryani from a local, I guess it does biryani. It was a Afghanistan food place. And I mixed the rest of my rice up with some eggs this morning. So I'm going to use this. And then I'm also going to be using some noodles because that's not enough. And I don't want to make more rice. So I got half an onion here. I think I'll use the whole thing. I'm feeling oniony today. All right. And to just clarify, you will not be watching me eat. This is not a mukbang channel. This is not happening. I will be nice. I'll show you me taking a bite. That's the best I can do for you, though. I must eat in silence, in the dark, while the cats howl in the alley, and the men beg in the streets. But do I care? No.
It's a hard game. We don't have to do nothing right. We got wingers with fixie bikes, gonna nut for it. Fixie bikes!
Welcome back to your favorite Canadian burnout. So, as I was mentioning in the first half of the video, I am very intrigued by the idea of trying to somehow get Hideo Kojima to recognize what Terry Fox did. And I am going to do that. I'm going to either find out he already knew, which is most likely, smart guy, does his research. Someone probably told him by now. Or I'm going to be the reason he finds out. So either way, I'm happy with whatever that outcome may be. So I'm excited to have you guys actually watch me draw this time. Something like that. Now, when I think about it, there's no way Hideo Kojima does not already know. He collects references. That's what he does. I'm surprised I just didn't see any blatant use of a reference if he does know. Unless it is blatant and we just didn't notice it, with all of his references to prosthetics and everything about Death Stranding. The photo I was looking at, I think it must be earlier in his run. Just an assumption. I don't really have anything to base that on. I apologize for not being as well read as I should be on Terry Fox and what's going on with him. But hopefully we can learn together. Well, Mr. Kojima, or to whoever is going to pass this message to Mr. Kojima, please explain the impact that Terry Fox had, or let me tell you the impact he had on this country. He is probably the first Canadian hero every child learns about in this country. Whether it sticks with them or not, it's the first one. We all have a program in our public schools called the Terry Fox Walk, where we enact a charity drive while walking a certain distance and some running during a certain day on the year. And if our teachers did any good job during that time while we were in school, they made sure to really inform us of who he was, what he did, and why. And once you know all that, and you go and do the Terry Fox Walk, and you also help raise money for cancer research, I don't think you have any choice. That just sticks with you. You'll probably have maybe other people you look up to more for different reasons, depending on what you want to do with your life. But for me, even though I wasn't this cross-country star athlete growing up until later in my life I started to run more, it just stuck with me. The endurance of it all really spoke to me. And I feel like that would definitely speak to Hideo. And I'm realizing that is my one point. It's not much to say other than that. It's just I want him to know about Terry Fox. And I'm just going to be repeating that until he finds out. But moving on from that, I think we should look at the grand scheme of it more and say Terry Fox represents the hero's struggle. And that's why he needs to be represented in a high caliber media source like Hideo Kojima's work, in my opinion. But it's like just like so mythical what he did. I was trying to explain it to a friend the other day. He was running literally on one leg. Like, think of that as fantastical as you can, no prosthetic. Running on one leg. He was literally doing that. The only thing the prosthetic did was hold his weight for a moment in between this skipping stride he took with his one leg. There's no force coming from that prosthetic at all, other than momentum, which is carried fully or pushed fully from his one leg. It seems impossible to think about it. Like, and again, this is not the blades that these these runners use now, the ones that have missing legs. Not even close. It's literally a wooden leg. It looks like a part of a boat too, which is why I think it's so interesting too. It's just like this maritime traveler look to it. I don't know how else to describe it. And I have an assumption, and I'm going to look this up, but I am assuming that it was made from materials used to build high-end yachts or something, because those are strong, flexible materials that can take impact. So that is my assumption. And also, there's also a good chance that I heard that from someone growing up. So, but I'm going to say I came up with that. Yeah, I'm going to keep it simple with this drawing tonight. Just try and get a real clear line of figure and not spend too much time on the shirt like I have been for a moment here. I feel good about where I've positioned the arms for the most part. It just has just enough of what I need to show motion, but it still looks a little rigid. Like he's running with his arms fixed in that position, not moving them. You know what my favorite Disney movie growing up was? And I don't know why, I'm just thinking they're the same, is Hercules. And I'm thinking Terry Fox and Hercules just feels similar. There's just a vibe. I don't know why. Comment down below if you agree. I'm not changing my mind. I can go the distance if I can be strong. Dude is like should not have went with Meg in my opinion now as I get older. But it's not like I don't know. I think it's better he's with a more complicated person in the end than someone that's simpler, because if he is he's just like he's too much for someone who's just a normal person. You know, someone needs to be a little complicated or messed up or interesting in other ways to compensate for how much of a person someone like Hercules would be with. So I think it just makes sense that way. And you can't take any of that away. All the stuff with Meg and the reasons why he likes her and loves her and wants to save her and all that. You can't get rid of any of that. So you couldn't replace it with anything different. Yeah, I grew up off Hercules and Treasure Planet, and I will never regret that. Best Disney movies ever. Fight me. Like literally, I will actually fight you. People talk so much shit about Treasure Planet. And I think it's because it's not princess orientated in any way. It's about disenfranchised kid
taking a risk at living life and simultaneously being able to save his mother from poverty. Fuck you if you think that's a bad story. Yeah, let me move the camera a bit. There's like a hinge, not a hinge, but a weird framing system around where his knee would be. I can't remember what it looks like. And then it gets a lot skinnier as it goes towards his calf and ankle. And I can't remember the shape, but I'm going to try just something here. Something abstract for now. They will not be what it finally looks like. I'm just trying to get an idea here. And the shoe. I'm feeling good about this one, more than I thought I would. Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, maybe a bit more higher up for that, and then more of a stepping. What's the foot? Less pointed, more steppy. Yeah, I went to art school, you know. They taught me all this stuff there. Actually, I went on a school trip in high school once to the Toronto Art School, which is called OCAD, funny enough. And there was these students in the main foyer with a bunch of money in a bin, like a plastic bin, collecting it. And I asked him what it's for. And he said, well, we're going to burn it. And I just thought he was just had a funny sense of humor and he was fucking with me. So I threw something back at him. I said, oh, you're going to use it on your tuition, eh? And he looked so like not okay with me saying that. And then I realized he wasn't joking. And that is the funniest thing, that thinks he's making some kind of artistic point by being the most like pretentious person at art school, where you're full of pretentious people, or like whatever. After that, I never wanted to go to art school when I met that guy, because it didn't matter to me what I learned in art school. I wanted to collaborate with people, and I probably would have found good people, but maybe I wouldn't have. I would have got stuck with guys like that. Who knows? But now I'm making connections with people that I used to know, which Hideo Kojima has inspired me to do, honestly, since Death Stranding 1. Connect with people however you feel comfortable doing. Norman Reedus' character in the game does not go out of his way to touch people and hug people because he has a phobia of being touched. But he goes out and he connects people with the chiral network and delivering things to them. And I don't know, I feel like I have a special appreciation for anyone who delivers me something. Doesn't mean I'm gonna ask them to marry me, but I would send them a card wishing them the best if they did get married. I would do that if I could, if I knew who they were. What I'm trying to say is he connected with people despite having so much fear of connecting with people. And I'm not the only one who can relate to that, especially after the dark times. Let's just call it that. And we all know what I'm referring to. And I'm not going to go into all that, how Hideo Kojima somehow knew COVID was going to happen with Death Stranding. Somehow he just knew. People have talked a lot about that already, but somehow he knew something was going on. He must have, like, not conspiratorial, but intuition, I guess. I don't know. Don't mind these things on my hand. I just tried rock climbing for the first time today. Not bad. It looks like his leg's not supposed to bend that way, though. But it does follow like a direction still, kind of. No, that breaks the direction too much. Let's redo that whole part of the leg. Something like that. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not too keen on this drawing this part right now. I'm trying it. I'm happier with that. It still looks a little more ridiculous than what I left off, but I think that's just because there's not as much detail in it right now. Let's try and just fix that a little. So I need it to be like that. So there we go. I see it now. There he is. Okay. So I wanted this line to make sense in my head, and it does now. It's not proportionate properly or anything, but the way I draw, I chisel things down with erasing, so that's fine. Actually, now that I remember, that is how I did it. I would always draw things a little bigger on purpose on the first draft and then chisel it down. Okay, that's not too bad. Since I'm out of talking points, I'm going to end the video here.